Well, good morning, grubbers. I hope this day finds you well. It's a little foggy here. It's early. Well, it's 9. No, it's 8:30. It's kind of early. A little fog in the west. Actually, that's the east. It's still early. So those of you grubbers who watched the grilled cheese episode recently were promised a 30-year-old recipe for a dish I think is absolutely exceptionally good if you like mac and cheese. Now, disclosure, if you like the creamy, saucy mac and cheese like Kraft mac and cheese you make in a pot, or maybe some of these ones that are, you know, at some of these diner type restaurants, that's fine. But that's not what Rustica is. Mac and cheese Rustica is a firmer mac and cheese. If you ever had those fried mac and cheese balls, it's a lot like that. It's really hearty, crunchy, chewy, good, and we bake it. We don't make it in a pot. We bake it. We bake it here in our trusty toaster oven. So we're gonna do Rustica today. I gotta go out to my favorite provisioner, Walmart, and get 6 ingredients. Just 6, once again, simple. We're violating the 5 rule, but we gotta do it. Bring them back and show you how we do this. It's gonna be great. Now you may have wondered, what was a hawk? Beautiful hawk, just landed at the top of the tree. He's out hunting for mice, you know, breakfast time too for the animals, critters. Anyway, a little history you might not be aware of regarding mac and cheese. The oldest existing recipe, according to Smithsonian Institute, and I think they're reputable, 1769. And they say it hails from Northern Europe, mac and cheese. Further down the road, Thomas Jefferson, they say, had some in France and fell in love with it. So he came back to America with a bunch of macaroni in a pasta machine, and even served it as a state dinner to his guest. And then, of course, in the 1930s, I think it was 37, Kraft came up with mac and cheese in a box. And well, you know where that went. So it's been around a long, long time. That hawk has just flown off on his way to have breakfast himself. In any event, a little lore is always nice. So I think, as I've said before, it is important to understand where all this food comes from. You know, I think it's fascinating. At least I do. Hopefully you do. Okay, grubbers, let's boil some water. That's not too hard. Turn the power on. I'm going to put it on a 10 and throw a little salt in there. Always add salt. I got the little elbows. The key is you want macaroni type pasta. You don't want spaghetti. You don't want angel hair, okay? I mean, I guess you could try that, but the point is you want to be able to kind of pick up pieces of it with your fork or your finger and munch on it. And, you know, linguine or spaghetti or angel hair, that's going to be a mess. Well, let me show you something. This is what's going out there in this world today. See that nice box of macaroni? Oh, what happened to a quarter of it seems to have disappeared in transit due to shipping. You believe that? And the price is higher. I don't know. I don't want to be a skeptic or a cynic, but there's something very, very important to keep in mind, because when we finish prepping this mac and cheese Rustica, we're going to put it in the oven and we're going to bake it for 25 to 30 minutes. So you absolutely want to do your pasta al dente. Al dente. So according to their recommendations for these little guys, we're going to do this for 6 minutes. That'll be al dente. Very important. If you fully cook it, you're going to end up with mac and cheese mush Rustica, which you don't want. Kids won't even eat it. Okay, we got a boil here, so I'm going to put in about half the box. So I'm going to just estimate. I think it's about half the box. And when this comes back to that full boil, we're going to put it on for exactly 6 minutes. Just boiling away. For a couple more minutes, we'll be rinsing it in the colander under cold water, and I do that to again stop the cooking. Now, you may be wondering why the spoon is sitting there. Actually, this is a trick I learned somewhere along the line. You know how sometimes when you're boiling pasta, it boils up and over and it makes a horrific mess all over your stove? Well, if this were to boil up, once it hits the spoon, it stops, something with physics, and it just goes right back down. So put your spoon on top, a wooden spoon, and I've never had a boil over. I haven't had a boil over in 20 years. Yeah, our macaronis came out beautifully. I rinsed them thoroughly because if you don't, then everything's going to get thicker because they're covered with this starchy starch. First of all, I've got an egg here. I've got a 1/4 cup of cream. You can use milk. I've done both. I don't recommend skim milk. Fat is good. Let's get the egg in there. Give it a good whisk. I think that's sufficient. This egg out of here. It'll end up in the Rustica. Then it'll be very Rustica. Okay, so believe it or not, we're actually ready to assemble. Now that we've got all of our ingredients ready to roll and we're going into the assemblage mode, first thing I do is give it a shot of, guess what? All-time #1 ingredient in Garage Grubbin's kitchen, spray oil. And of course, I'm told the extra virgin olive oil is the proper oil. We don't do canola anymore. Canola was good, now canola is not good, according to the authorities on oil. Keep this in mind. We're gonna make 4 layers. 4 layers. Macaroni, shredded cheese, macaroni, shredded trees. Not trees, cheese. Not cheese, cheese. The big question is what kind of cheese? You know, I've tried everything. It's all good. So if you like cheddar, use sharp cheddar, use mild cheddar, use one of the blendeds. We can use the Fiesta blend. We can use the Italian blend. There's the Mexi blend. I think that's also the Fiesta blend. Anyway, I'm going to use Cheddar Jack, one of the ones that I didn't mention. Cheddar Jack is great. It has a nice consistency, the flavor's good, and it has a delightful chew. 4 layers. We're going to start with the macaroni. Okay, and I probably have way too much macaroni, but that's okay. We'll find something else good. I lost a piece to do with that. So we're gonna do 4 layers: 2 macaroni, 2 cheese, and then we're gonna finish it. Next is the cheese. I don't want to feed the mice here in the garage, so I'm trying to keep it very neat. And be generous with the cheese. Remember, that's a big part of the star here. Come on, elbows, get to work. Quit laying around. It will not go to waste, I can assure you of that. Keep losing them. And this, by the way, the bench is extremely clean. I just scrubbed it down, so don't worry if I pick something up off the bench. Very important. If you use a longer dish, a flatter dish, a shallower dish, you have to realize that it's going to cook faster and bake quicker in the oven, so you're going to have to cut the time back. Okay? So we had macaroni, cheese, macaroni, cheese. And we're just going to finish off the rest of this. And this is 2 cups. 2 cups, and that's just about what you want for this size dish. Oh, that was good. Yeah. And again, it's balanced. You have to get it kind of equally distributed as far as the macaroni and the cheese for it to be super, super good. Rustica. Okay, so that was it. Did I get it all? Yeah, good. Okay, that's that. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get our cream egg and just pour it on top. Just distribute it over the top evenly as possible. And that's just, again, 1/4 cup of heavy cream and 1 egg, beaten well. Beaten well. Okay, beautiful. Now, two steps left. We're almost finished. This is an easy dish, I'll tell you. Breadcrumbs. I got these Italian style, and they're really nice. And don't overdo the breadcrumbs, because then you get a big, well, it's like a big crust. It's not good. So just kind of lightly. Okay, you got that? And then finally, the butter is the star. Where's my knife? What happened to my knife? Jeez, what did I do with it? Oh, I put it put it away. See, that's very efficient. And just get a few hunks. I don't know what you call these, a dab. Is this a dab of butter? Just put it, don't be shy. Butter's really good stuff. This is hard butter, and so I'm having a bit of a time with it. Come on, butter. God, I've got a terrible knife. This knife was made in Japan in the 60s. It's just a disaster. It doesn't cut anything. Why don't I get a new knife? Come on, garage grubbing. With your revenues from this show, you should get a gold knife, a 24 karat gold knife. Okay, that's beautiful. Then you may think, well, that's a lot of butter. Yeah, it is a lot of butter, but trust me, we want a lot of butter. And when this thing comes out of the oven, sizzling, smelling of butter, you're gonna lose it. And then you can eat it. Oven on, bake at 350. Once it's preheated in about 5 minutes, these toaster ovens are quick, I like them. We're gonna pop this in, and we're going to, what is in there? Hang on a second, I got something inside here. Oh my God, oh geez. I thought it was a cockroach, but it's just a really big burned piece of cheese. I gotta turn this off a second and get in here. It almost looks like a small mouse, but it's not. It's just, I know what happened. The cheese curled up somehow. Oh, this is sick. Look at this. I thought that was a cockroach or a mouse, you see? It's not, it's cheese. Oh, geez, I gotta clean this. Okay, we're gonna just pause this episode for just a moment. I have to clean my drip rack. You have to maintain your equipment in a high state of readiness. Okay, I think we're ready. So we're preheated 350. We're gonna put this in. I'm gonna set the timer for 25 minutes. I'm gonna check it midway. Your oven is gonna vary, I'm sure. You might have a big oven. You might have a smaller oven. You don't want the top to burn. So check it midway. If it's starting to get too brown, just cover it with a piece of foil and put it back in. It's not complicated. Okay, we're going in here. We're going in here. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna set the time for 25 minutes and we'll be back. So our 25-minute timer just went off, and I want to show you what it should look like. You see how it's all sizzly all the way down to the bottom? Everything's bubbling. That means it's really done through. So it's been 25 minutes, and this is coming right out. Well, that isn't a picture of beauty. That's what it should look like. Now, I added a little pepper before I popped it in. I neglected to show you that. But, seasonings are very personal. And I forgot. So anyway, pepper it up before or after. I didn't add any salt because the cheese has salt, and you can do that after the fact. But look at that gorgeous, bubbly, yummy mac and cheese. Boy, the smell in this garage, I'll tell you. Our neighbors, they hate me. They hate me. Rubbers, it's time. And I've been waiting patiently for like 10 minutes. It's so hot when it comes out, you just can't eat it. So we're gonna dip in right now. See how we did here, peeps. Might be a little hot still. We're gonna try again, second attempt. I think it's gonna be good this time, or edible. Excuse me while I faint. I mean, you must be kidding. Oh. Absolutely incredible. I'm gonna dip it down to the bottom. See, that's baked on that nice cheesy little crust at the base. Oh, the butter. There's a little egg. You know what's that? A little egg flavor. Cooking in the garage, you never know what's gonna happen. Rubbers, do it. There are no words, so I will say no more. 6 ingredients. Toaster oven. Dumb simple. So good and so nutritious. Wow. Anyway, your wife's gonna be happy for dinner. Have a little broccoli on the side. I mean, that's really good food. Come back soon, Grovers. Thanks for joining. We'll come up with something else. I have a few other ideas that are germinating, and we'll have some fun and make some great grub in the garage. Adios.